Once upon a time, there lived a pretty little girl named Laura. She lived in a huge mansion with her parents and her nurse.
Mama, Papa, these ribbons make me look the prettiest. Aren't these amazing?
I'm glad you love them, dear, but you mustn't think so much about these things.
Why not? I can't help it if I'm pretty.
Ah, my little doll. It's because we're afraid you'll get a big head because of it.
A big head? Nurse!
Laura had been spoiled by her silly nurse, who had often told the young child to be proud of her beauty and all her pretty clothes.
Nurse, Mama and Papa told me that if I think too much about my pretty clothes, then I'll grow a big head.
Oh no, Laura. I'm sure they were just teasing you. Don't worry, that would never happen to you.
So Laura grew to be very selfish and despised anyone who wasn't as pretty as her. On one sunny day, Laura was outside wandering through her garden. It had flowers of many types and looked as if a rainbow had spread its colors all over the place.
Reds and yellows and pinks and... Huh? Who's that?
As she looked, her curiosity turned to disdain. For through the huge metal gates peeped a little girl of around the same age as Laura.
How dare she touch my gates with those hands? And she is so shabby. Hi! Go away!
The little girl looked up at Laura, startled. She had loved the beautiful flowers and had only wanted to see them more closely.
Oh, hello. Don't hello me. You don't belong here. Go away. But I just wanted to see those pretty flowers. Those pretty flowers are only meant for me. So go away from here.
The poor girl ran away immediately, hurt by Laura's words.
Oh, what a rude child!
Huh? Where did that voice come from?
Laura walked over to see a bush covered with the most beautiful red roses she had ever seen. Laura looked a little closer and, to her amazement, saw a tiny little fairy dressed in the petals of rose. She had with her a palette of multiple shades of red, and her eyes twinkled as she saw Laura.
Who are you? You are so pretty.
I don't want to be complimented by the likes of you. Don't you agree, sisters?
Laura's amazement only grew as she saw many little fairies coming out from behind the various flowers.
Oh, you're all so lovely. Ugh, don't touch us with your hands.
Laura was shocked.
Wasn't that a little mean? She's just a child, you know. Huh. That's exactly how she spoke to that poor child.
Well, I'm moving to the next bush. Coming, Tulia? Wouldn't want to be near such a child now, would we? Ho, 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 ho.
Right behind you, Rosalie.
And the two fairies fluttered away, leaving Laura very upset.
Don't worry about them. I'm Violet, and this is Lillian. Oh, I'm Laura. Pleased to meet you.
Laura watched as Violet painted the flowers a pretty purple. She dipped her brush into a dewdrop and then into the color.
Where do you get your colors from?
Violet showed Laura a small purple string of light coming from the sun and forming the color into her palette.
Wow! I wish I could be a fairy too.
Lillian, who had been quiet all this while, now looked keenly at Laura.
Would you really like that? Yes, ma'am. Well, at least for around 15 minutes.
Lillian extended her long and graceful hands. And as soon as she had touched Lillian's hands, Laura found herself to be the size of a ladybug.
I'm gonna fall!
No, we've got you.
I don't have any wings to fly with.
Wings, my dear, are only for real fairies. Well, up we go!
They flew through the air, over gardens and streets.
Oh, this is so lovely!
Soon they reached a neat and small cottage. Inside lay a woman, pale with sickness. Her daughter was feeding her some porridge.
There are so many pretty gardens to paint. Why have we come here?
Well, I guess it's because we wanted to. Now, Violet, help me with these, will you?
Laura decided to observe the family inside.
Oh dear, how I wish I had some warm chicken soup and a few sweet strawberries. I know we can't afford it, but sickness does make one want the strangest of things. Don't worry, Mother. I'll be selling the dress to Mrs. Barrett today. Mrs. Barrett? Why is she talking about Mama? Oh, that's the dress I'd wanted.
Laura suddenly felt sad for the seamstress's family.
Uh-huh.
She never pays you enough, my dear. Ask her for a little extra. I'll try, Mother. Well, whatever happens, I'll definitely make you some delicious chicken soup.
The seamstress walked over to the window just as the fairies were finishing their painting.
These smell so good. Mother, I'll keep them here for you. Thank you, love. I do enjoy smelling these lovely flowers.
Now to the next house.
They flew through the warm summer sky and soon landed on a small window pane that belonged to an old, tumbling house.
I don't get this. Why do you visit old houses when you can easily be painting in beautiful meadows?
We'll tell you after we're done. Now watch me.
Laura watched the nearly withered flowers turn into the loveliest violets she had ever seen. Lillian gave them a white and gold sparkle that shone when caught by the sun.
It's so beautiful.
Suddenly, Laura heard a hurried scampering in the room.
That's the girl I shooed away today.
That child has no parents to love her.
Laura's heart pained when she heard that. The girl came running towards the flower pot.
Oh, how lovely you look. And how fresh you smell. Mother told me that God gave us the flowers to make us good and happy.
Margaret!
Coming. That is why we come here, to give anyone even a moment of happiness, because we care for others.
I wish I was a real fairy. Then I'd be able to do that too.
The fairy smiled. Laura's heart had already begun to change.
You can do much more as a human. Come, your 15 minutes are up.
And before she could understand, she was her normal size, standing in front of the poor girl's house. The two fairies had disappeared.
Oh no! How do I return home?
Just then, Margaret came out and was surprised to see Laura.
You're that girl who drove me away this morning. Why are you here and not in your pretty garden?
I'm lost and can't find my way back. Would you help me?
Maggie was kind at heart and held no grudges. She led Laura back to her home.
I'm Laura.
I'm Margaret, but I like to be called Maggie.
Do you live here?
Yes, I live here with my aunt, and she doesn't like me, so it isn't all that good. But she feeds me, so I'm grateful for that.
They chatted until they finally reached Laura's house.
Please, let me thank you properly.
She took Maggie in and gave her delicious food to eat, much to Maggie's delight. After that, Laura took her out to the garden and told her to pick as many flowers as she wanted. She apologized deeply for the way she'd acted.
That's all right.
Maggie left and Laura went to find her father. She told him all about Maggie and how she lived with her cruel aunt.
So, what do you want me to do?
Can't we keep her here?
Well, of course she can. Laura, I am so proud of you.
Laura smiled, and as she watched her walk away, he secretly felt pleased that his daughter had cared for another. After that, she went to her mother, who was found talking to the seamstress.
Mama, this dress is so lovely. Shouldn't it be worth a good sum?
Laura's mother was most surprised at this, but agreed wholeheartedly that the dress was certainly worth a good price.
Wait! Before you go, take these home with you. Strawberries? Oh, but It's my way of saying thank you.
The seamstress smiled warmly and left with a happy heart. True to his word, Laura's father asked Maggie to come over to their place. Maggie enjoyed herself thoroughly and soon became good friends with Laura.
How could I have been so mean to someone?
Laura had learned that the only thing that mattered, which was supposed to be pretty, was a person's heart. It was a lesson she would never forget. The fairies had taught her well.